Welcome back. Still taking your phone calls, 412-575-2600 on the Bordas and Bordas hotline. Hot topic of the night is Steelers after a 26-9 win in Baltimore. Let's go to Fonz in Brookline. Fonz, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
How you doing, Josh?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can you explain to me what is the rule that that interception before halftime when Antonio Brown, they catch it and his knee was down and they reversed it and it was interception? Can you explain that to me? That they ain't explained it at all with the rules. And I'd like to hear your thoughts about that, what the rule is.
Well, thanks for the call. What the rule says is that he has to have the ball with control to the ground. He has to be, actually touched down to be considered down and have possession of the ball. Pretty sure that's what the rule says. But what is a catch has become the existential equivalent to what is truth in the NFL. No one really knows what a catch is anymore. I still can't understand how that was called an interception because apparently Antonio Brown having possession of the ball with his knee down on the field of play and rolling over for Eric Weddle to even have access to the ball, somehow it's not a catch. I don't know how that's possible, even with it slowed down in front of you and they overturned it that way. It makes absolutely no sense to me. I wish I could explain it, but I don't know how they came to that conclusion. It's pretty insane. Let's go to Mike in Penn Hills. Mike, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
How you doing, Josh?
Good. How are you?
Hey, I'd just like to make a comment on Mike Tomlin's two-point conversion try.
Yes.
And I'd like to say that there's a reason why Mike Tomlin was voted by his peers to be one of the best coaches in the NFL. And a smart thing for him to do, which he did, trying for the two-point conversion, when you're comfortable with the lead and the direction that the game is going, that's exactly the time that you practice something under hostile game conditions for future benefit. That's really all I have to say. Thank you very much.
That's a very interesting standpoint there. Appreciate the call, Mike. That's one of the few times where I get a call where it's actually praising Mike Tomlin's decision to go for two that didn't work. That's interesting. But to your point, this actually speaks to something that a lot of people really are programmed to think. They just think conservatively when it comes to decision-making in the NFL, when it comes to going for two, going for it on fourth down instead of punting or kicking field goals. Aggressive decision-making is largely frowned upon. Mike Tomlin is one of those guys that they've done the research. They have the numbers that supports that there is a pretty good success rate at going for two, that there are times when it is probably more profitable than to kick an extra point. So from that perspective, yeah. And this is something that they practice every day during training camp. They called it 7 shots. They had several different plays from, I believe, the 2-yard line. And they keep working on different sets they use, different formations, different play calls, and it's the first-team offense against the first-team defense. So to your point about practicing it during a game situation, they practiced it a lot before the season started. So they have a lot of experience as to what they want to do, what they want to call, and how they want to go about it. Now, that actually got negated by not doing it because Baltimore tried it later, and they also failed, so it kind of washed itself out. But, yes, there is a certain level of loss aversion that Mike Tomlin tends to throw out the window when he goes for two in those situations. Let's go to Paul in North Hills. Paul, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Josh, I've never had an adequate explanation as to how Le'Veon Bell gets $12,500,000 in his first year of free agency. What is it about the formula in the NFL that gets him that money? Because he was only making a fraction of that in his fourth full year. How does he get $12,500,000? And why in the world would he not sign a long-term contract for $12 million? I think he made a big mistake. But what is it that gets him $12,500,000?
That's the franchise tag rules. That's how that's set up. And that comes from the league. That's based on. They pretty much come up with a number every year, and that number tends to change every couple of years or so. But based on each position, the league comes up with a number, and it's really based on the salaries around the league at that position. That's really how they come to that. So when you have running backs, their number is actually one of the smaller numbers. Quarterback numbers are bigger. I want to say it's more than $20 million. Wide receivers numbers are bigger. Offensive lineman numbers tend to be a little bit smaller. Defensive linemen or defensive ends and linebackers, their numbers tend to be relatively smaller compared to quarterbacks and wide receivers because quarterbacks, wide receivers tend to make more money. So that's why you see that number what it is. It's not like they just plucked a number out of the air and said, hey, this is what we want to give you. As to why he did not get a contract, you're going to have to ask him about that. because they offered him one and he said no. That's pretty much the best answer I have for that. So hopefully I answered those two questions to your liking. In the meantime, we got to take a break. We'll wrap up when we come back. Stick around.